Hey, Tom.
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's the new year. Do you feel any different?
Not at all.
Cool. Let's start the show.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. You know what? That's a bold-faced lie. I think for the first time in my entire life, I do.
Oh, nice.
What about you?
Good for you.
Good for you.
I think I was talking to my wife about this. No, I think. I never really do, I guess.
Right.
We can get into it more in the post show, but even this year we had a baby. But in all the movies and TV shows you watch, there's like an inspiring sequence where there's music and you burst through and, you know, whatever. But weirdly, like having to stop at a traffic light and be in the car or start the car to make that drive, it was like, man, I still feel like myself all the time. So I think you view New Year's a little different than I do. It's a good time for reflection, certainly. We'll get into that today. But in terms of like resolutions and starting things, I don't know. Not that, well, I don't know. We'll get into it. But do I feel any different on any given New Year's? Not so much. Or yeah, not so much.
All right.
You're already throwing me, Tom. I'm already off the rails a little bit, or at least it feels that way. But let's not get too out of whack here because we have some housekeeping. Some very important housekeeping. Is the heat turned up or something? Because it's getting a little hot in here. Getting a little steamy. Getting a little blazing.
Yeah. Scorch Fest is coming. We've got a site set up on our webpage. If you go to reminiscentpodcast.com/ScorchFest, we tried to do it a little bit more organized this year. So we have a Google form, which is going to make it really easy for everyone. And within that Google form is a link where you can drop an audio file and we'll put your voice in the show, giving your best terrible hot take about something that is probably unequivocally not true, but for some reason you feel possessed to believe that it is, such as New Found Glory is hot garbage, which has since been redacted. But yeah, Scorch Fest, man, I think that's how we're starting the year, right? Depending on how quickly the submissions come in.
Yeah, I think we'll drop this one. Today we're doing The New Year by Death Cab For Cutie as kind of a New Year's special to kind of give us a week to collect. And then, yeah, in spirit, we're kind of kicking things off with Scorch Fest. Now, I kind of want so many submissions that we have to break it into two parts.
Oh, wow.
Where we just like have an episode where we just read pure heat and then a second episode where we actually sort through and declare a winner or something. We'll see what comes in. Maybe we'll just have a big extravaganza. But I'm very excited because this started pretty organically last year. And I hope you all are as excited as we are because this whole kind of community is based on just slinging takes, man. And some are hotter than others. But and we joke all the time on the show. I think since day one, like dropping hot, steamy takes has been the driving mission statement from day one. But obviously not. Like we're just pretty like Midwestern fellas. But you guys supply the heat, which is great. So this is a chance for everyone just to kind of get it all out there. Your deepest, darkest, dirty little secrets. You know what I mean? So then we sort through them, and somewhere in the rubble is a golden spatula that we will in a very real way, order you a golden, not real gold, obviously, but a gold yellow painted spatula from Amazon for a few dollars, and that'll be the trophy. We did that last year. We'll do it again. And I think if you sign up and you can opt in we'll send you a sticker or something if you submit a scorching take this year. So give us your best, what you got. Give us what you got. Is it one per or no more than a certain amount? What do you think rules-wise?
Ooh. Just to make sure they're extra hot, one per, I think.
Whoa, one per. Okay.
So they better be your best. Maybe we can do a post show of all the secondary takes. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. I like that. Give us, yeah, I guess that's the spirit of it, right? Why we soften it. We want your scorchiest scorcher. But that'll be next week. And yeah, we're kicking things off here with the new year. Anyway, we'll have links in the post show and all that, or the show notes, I should say.
Yeah, and just one last bit of housekeeping. So I'm working on a best of 2021 playlist, songs that came out this year. That's going to be in the show notes as well, so you can follow us on Apple Music and Spotify for that. And as a special Christmas present to everyone, the super long vlog, the tour of Erie, the landmarks of our hometown that was available to Patreon supporters only. We're opening up to everyone. So that'll be in the show notes as well as a Merry Christmas to all of you. And that's it for the housekeeping.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't done this song or this video on a New Year episode yet. I think for the first few years of the show, we did like a resolutions episode.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot. But I Googled it just this morning. We were like, hey, we should, maybe come up with something. And you pretty much every year are like, hey, we should, do something true to the New Year's thing, even though we don't do the resolutions thing anymore, outside of the post show anyway. And I'm like, damn, how have we not done this? And I just immediately fell into the transatlanticism thing.
Oh,
and,
no.
I know. That's why when you're like, hey, do you feel any different? I'm like, you caught me the minute I stopped, took the headphones off and jumped on the mic to do the episode. So I'm like, well, Tom, you caught me in a moment. Sorry about that, everybody. Got to get some Scorch Fest stuff out of the way. But no, it's quick how we'll go over one of the fast facts. But I guess right around 2003 when the record was coming out, there was like this A&R rep big label like fight over Death Cab after Postal Service had come out. We'll get into all of it, but apparently they were supposed to be like the American answer for Coldplay and everything like that. And I know Coldplay started off with some absolute gut punches of songs early on, so maybe that explains it a little more. But I was listening to the first 3 or 4 or 5 tracks on transatlanticism, and I'm just like, wow, how is this supposed to be the answer to Coldplay? Like, I don't know. It's just like in horror movies when the villain like takes a knife and cuts through the metal of a car door or something. And that's how it feels to listen to the first 4 tracks of this album. So, at least in my mind. So I just had not realized how, like, should we just do the fast facts? No, you want to do favorite New Year's memories? How do you want to start this? We got a lot of angles we could take here.
Well, I wanted to, so it is the day after Christmas that we're recording this.
Sure. I'm getting so far. I'm just excited. I was just like, man, I learned that this is supposed to be a long distance concept album for the first time. I feel like an idiot, but I'm like, oh my God. So I've been listening to it kind of throughout the weekend with through that lens, and everything makes like a ton more sense. And I feel like a total dork, but I didn't realize that was the thread through the whole. Did you know that?
So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Anyway, so I'm like very excited to dive right the in. But you're right. It's Christmas weekend, or this is the day after Christmas right now. We had been stockpiling all year because we both had kids this year. This is kind of back into the rhythm of timely content. Content. Buckle up for some content.
So meaty.
Excuse me, can I get some more of that content, please?
Daddy made your favorite so open wide. Or whatever the melody is. I don't know. I mean, I just genuinely wanted to ask you about how your Christmas was, because we were both doing our family thing and didn't really get to talk much about that. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to hear about your Christmas. Again, the first one with kids, still in a pandemic, so it's a little difficult and weird. So yeah, I just want to hear how your day was.
It was good. It sounds like you have more, reading over the notes here, you had more first Christmas outfits to try on. We didn't have as many. We realized, we were like, we have like a theme for everything else, but mostly just dinos at this point, which seems to be a very like safe, delightful little way to decorate baby's clothes, which is a whole new world you and I have gathered into. But we got him all dinoed up, and he still was super cute. But no, it was cool. Jesse's family was in town, and we played some Jackbox games, and just did the whole. It's like it got popular in the pandemic where you go to a website and everyone can play the controller as your smartphone, basically. And there's a bunch of different games. That,
okay, yeah.
You can play virtually, whatever. But it was nice just to do It was pretty intimate, pretty small. It was only the 4 of us plus the baby, and
nice.
Ate, drank, and were merry. We had some ham. We hung out Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and just kind of. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much detail would be that much more interesting, other than it was just kind of all new. My dad got his hip replaced, so he wasn't in town. So kind of was missing they were supposed to be here, and kind of we were going to have this big baby's first Christmas thing, but that was kind of cut in half, which it wasn't like the most thrilling thing, but it was a good Christmas. I have no complaints, but it was just basic, like your general merriment. How about you?
Nice. Yeah, so it was just me, Megan, and the baby. We don't have any family in town or anything, so it was pretty mellow. I think he's having a 3rd tooth coming in, so he's been sleeping really terribly. So most of the day, he was actually like pretty cranky and tired. So we didn't even get through opening all of his presents. But yeah, so Megan and I both have divorced parents. So a lot of holidays are spent FaceTiming four fucking people. And it takes like hours out of the day. But what we're realizing is every holiday now, each of those four parent groups are sending baby's first Halloween, baby's first Thanksgiving, baby's first Christmas. And this year we got like 4 baby's first Christmas outfits. And of course, every parent wants a picture with the baby in the first Christmas outfit. And I don't know, dude, that's just such a weird obligation to give someone, but we ended up actually not putting him in any of them because he was so tired and cranky, and I lied to them all saying we did. I have to transfer the pictures from my nice camera, which was me getting around having the metadata on the iPhone, which tells you when the photo was taken. That's how like paranoid I am about getting caught doing something.
Nice. If you're just joining us this week somehow, welcome. That explains a lot about Tom. I think that particular slice of that particular anecdote tells you a lot.
So we're going to spend like 20 minutes just rapidly changing him through all the outfits, take a picture on my Sony camera, and then transfer them to my phone and then send them to all the parents, telling them these are the photos from yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, it adds a new wrinkle. I would say the baby adds to the phone time. Not because you look at it every second you're with them because you got to like play with them and whatever. But I would say like the pictures to family. So like heading into the holiday weekend, I was like, oh, my screen time's going to plummet. There's no way I'm looking at that thing. And it doubled. You know, it was like way more.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of like, hey, you know, but it's cool. I think sometimes with variants firing up, some people are at home and could use the lift, you know. And so yeah, him with his little, lot of toys for the baby.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That was cool. He kind of, you know, he was into, you know, his aunt got him a little stuffed octopus that has and it was just like, whoa, you know.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it's just, there is a coolness to it of him just kind of like not understanding anything, but also kind of like, I think a little bit overstimulated after too much like crinkling paper and lights and stuff. So definitely a few naps. I think we're a few months in development behind your son, but no, it was cool. I wouldn't say like true to the episode we're going to talk about today. Like I don't feel a lot different. It's just kind of a new set of chores, weirdly, but it's pretty cool. Huh. He's smiling now, like a little more, and it's cool.
I feel totally different about Christmas this year. Like I was very excited for it.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the Q&A a little bit, which is feels like growth, or it sounds like it.
Well, you know.
Or maybe that's the wrong word for it, but a change, certainly.
Yeah, you know, it's, again, to reference Mike Birbiglia, seeing the world through baby's eyes is like a very real thing for me. Like I'm getting very, I don't know, like there's this concept that I'm feeling of like wanting to be more in the moment because of like future memories. Like I think a lot about how like, you know, my parents have like 2 photos of me and my sister on early Christmases, but now with like technological advancements, we took like 13,000 photos yesterday, you know? And there's a part of me that's like, man, I want when Jasper's 30 to look back and be like, we were a great family, you know, like they really did everything. I think some of that is me trying to like, you know, just wanting to give him better life, more opportunities, whatever, than I feel like I had. So there's like this, not a pressure, I wouldn't say, but like an excitement to like, it feels like a paradox or an oxymoron, like being more in the moment so that when I look back in 20 years, I won't feel like I missed out on something. So I like really just want to like get into like the magic of Christmas because I loved Christmas as a kid. And I lost it as I got old and nihilistic or whatever, but I'm trying to find it like for his sake. And it feels nice. Like it feels nice to care about something. And I think we're going to get into that a little bit in the video and whatnot. But yeah, you know, New Year isn't like it's more of like an adult holiday or whatever. So I don't care too much about New Year, but whatever.
I was going to say, this might be a bridge to the episode from the anecdote thing, but I guess you already answered it. But is New Year's a special date on the calendar for you? Do you take stock You're a big resolutions guy. If you listen to the show, you know that about Tom. But yeah, I don't know. Is there like a New Year's memory that sticks out? Like, man, that was the year that I was heading into my year, or I don't know, whatever.
You know, it's funny. I have very few New Year's memories. I have one, which the girl that broke up with me right before Christmas, obviously that pretty rough mental state carried into New Year just the week after. And then I ended up turning into like a really, really good day, a really good night, really good memory. But New Year isn't like a huge, I mean, I go to bed at 9, you know, like I don't like celebrate New Year's Eve or anything. I have a couple times, but you don't know. It's not like a huge, super special day. You know, I do like the resolutions and the goals and stuff, but like, I don't think that you should wait until the new year to set them. And I don't think you should wait until like the next year to like change things and rearrange them. So like, for me, it's more of like a fun practice than something that like I treat with a lot of like care and respect or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. New Year's has always been a little bit depressing. And, you know, we kind of talk about like the Christmas songs that are like apathetic or whatever. I feel like if there's a New Year's song, the angle is always it's New Year's, but nothing is new. Like it's New Year's and it's always the same kind of thing, which is the feeling I've always had on New Year. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, do you have any like life-changing New Year's experiences? Because I super don't.
No, I was trying to think before the show just to, you know, First Night Erie was this thing that the city did. I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to have a pin every year you could collect, and they'd have all these events downtown, and the snow would still be falling, and it was still a way to kind of elongate celebrations into the long Erie winter. I don't know if you have any memories of that as a kid.
No,
so that was
I've
kind of
never
like
been.
a first half of. You never went to First Night Erie?
No.
Interesting. It was it was like on New Year's Eve every year, and they'd have things at the Warner and things at the Civic, you know, just kind of around. You could walk around. There'd be like a schedule of events and crafts for kids at different, you know, local businesses and stuff. And I think that for like years and years, you could collect all the pins. And my grandma had a big collection of all the pins, but they'd have fireworks at the end and everything like that, ringing in the new year. I think,
How have I
it was
never
like this
even heard about
famous
this?
Erie event that went on for years. I'm sure there's a write up somewhere, but yeah. So I guess that's my earliest memories, and then like there's just a scattering of like the Athens, Ohio college New Year that sticks out, the Albuquerque New Year that sticks out. There's a year I visited my sister. My sister was in Pittsburgh for some reason, and I went to a house party down there because I didn't have much else going on, I guess. I don't know. You just kind of like piece together. But now that come to think of it, there's no, and this might speak to how you and I view the holiday overall, is just kind of, I don't think you and I have ever like chosen Jan 1 to like start a new venture on that day. I think you just kind of like start it when the interest catches you creatively or whatever throughout the year. But yeah, nothing sticks out. Just kind of like a place and time of where you were, like, oh, I'm here now and there's a new year. I think I'm more of a birthday reflector. I think everyone in this music video we're about to talk about is like head in their hands reflecting like a motherfucker. And I was thinking like, I could see doing that on New Year's for sure. And I think like you, Zach, and I text each other like, hey, another year around the sun. That's pretty dope. But I think we mostly do that more on birthdays than New Year's. The thing I would do on birthdays forever, like in my late teens, was listen to that Ben Folds song. This is like the most lame personal, you know, detail about my life, but probably for a 5-year run, I would just sit somewhere alone and just listen to Everybody Knows It Sucks to Grow Up by Ben Folds. That's not the name of the song, but and just listen there and think and sit for a minute. And it was more of a birthday thing for me, but just kind of like take stock or whatever. But that's definitely what the people in this video are doing. Instead of talking more about how we don't value this holiday at all, should we dive right into the fast facts?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. These are kind of more conversational and boiled down from, again, we're trying not to read entire Wikipedia pages for you, but hopefully this tells the story of the album a little bit. Death Cab for Cutie, right? 1997, Western Washington University, an American alternative rock band was formed. Apparently it was originally a Ben Gibbard solo project, which I did not know. Did you?
No.
Yeah. They had put out a few albums by the time 2003 came around. And this was their fourth one, Transatlanticism. Apparently, there was like a little bit of turbulence in the band. Like, so let's back up to 2001. I guess there was some fight in Baltimore. I guess we've been joking about the Beatles documentary a lot, but Another situation, which is a common situation, where half the band really likes recording and not touring. Like,
Sure.
the touring seems kind of exhausting to them. So it's not like unique to any one band, but that seems to be the fight that arose here in around 2001. And that's when you start to see Gibbard going to Southern California and working on some of the Postal Service stuff in around 2002.
Oh, yeah.
Give Up comes out. And then the fourth album, Transatlanticism, comes around when he gets back with the band. I guess there was a few new drummers. I'm really combing over a lot of the details, but again, we're not trying to just like copy and paste robot voice read Wikipedia pages at you. But they got the band back together and released this album. And apparently, like, the Postal Service had drummed up enough like Gibbard / Death Cab, I guess word of mouth, that if you look at the Death Cab For Cutie Wikipedia page, there's almost more references to the show The OC than there are to the actual band Death Cab For Cutie, because apparently they were mentioned on some episode, and there was like, they were like officially firmly in 2000s culture at that moment.
Oh, wow.
Where Death Cab became this trendy band. And like I mentioned earlier, there was like this bidding war with A&R reps viewing them as America's answer to Coldplay. And they were like, it was this new thing. Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I didn't know Coldplay was not American.
We're learning a lot today. I'm not even going to shame you for that. It is what it is. Sometimes things just slip by and you don't bother to check it. But yeah, they are. Yeah.
I don't like that comparison because I do not like Coldplay.
Well, I didn't like it when I was thinking about like their late career stuff like Paradise and all that. But then I think back to like the song Yellow and the song Sparks.
Oh, that song.
And I'm like, okay. I was trying to like be like, man, that is not, how is this sentence on a Wikipedia page? A Wikipedia page that references the OC so much. Like, this is a fucking time warp. Like, I almost, like when you wake up and you like think you're in an old room you used to wake up in a lot, and you're like, what the that was a heavy dream. Anyway, that's how I felt reading this Wikipedia page for a minute. Anyway, they were trendy and their expectations were high for this album. And it ended up charting at number 97 on the Billboard 200 and was eventually certified gold by the RIAA.
Wow.
We'll wrap this up by saying that into 2003, they were touring with bands like Not a Surf, based on the Sherpas that would have recommended this sort of music, that tracks 1,000%. This had a video and is listed as a single on the Wikipedia page for the album, but not everywhere. You don't see that. The most common singles that are referenced are Sound of Settling and Title and Registration.
Makes sense.
The soundtracks, they appear on TV shows like The OC, CSI Miami, which is like, that's a pretty fucking wide range of shows that choose to put this music in their soundtracks.
Right.
And like, I guess campy 2000s comedies like Easy A and Wedding Crashers, they were on those soundtracks as well. So this isn't a Title and Registration episode, but I know Hannah got you into this band. I know there's a couple riffs on this album that you're like pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised knowing that these, like, Sound of Settling makes sense as a single, but Title and Registration I never fell in love with as much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was Hannah's favorite album of Death Cab's, and it was one of her favorite bands. So before we actually started dating, I would have been a junior in high school, which was 2008. She burned me Narrow Stairs and Transatlanticism, and she was like, listen to Transatlanticism, is my favorite album. But Narrow Stairs was like really new at the time. And that album just blew my mind. Like, that was quite possibly one of my albums of the year. And my music listening habits, when I get on an album, I'll just listen to that over and over and like go years forgetting about the rest of the band's discography.
Yeah, usually your album of the year list is one album that you listen to for literally the entire year, which is honestly the highest praise you can give. It's like, this is so good. It took over my life and altered the trajectory of like who I am as a person. And that's not hyperbole. That is your consumption like habits, I feel like.
It's only album of the year rather than album of the year.
Are there more? I literally was not aware.
Right. But I mean, this was a really important album to her, and being the jealous 17-year-old that I wasn't threatened by Ben Gibbard's looks. So I also love the band. I went one of two ways. I either loved them or hated them, depending on how attractive the lead singer was. No shade thrown to Ben Gibbard. But
I was honestly, when I first heard Death Cab and Bright Eyes, I was not at a place where I could like, I don't know. I like wasn't quite relating to the lyrics so much. There was almost like it felt pretentious at first, I guess. And it took me a couple years to come fully around on it. I don't really know where that came from or what that was. We talked a few weeks ago about 2010's two-word pop punk bands
Yeah.
and like how it felt cookie cutter to me at first. I don't know. I think like this show is definitely about admitting where you were just fucking wrong about stuff, and being wrong about Bright Eyes and Death Cab. For the first like month, I was like, this feels like I don't know if I can get there with this stuff. Like especially the glove compartment line. I'm like, everyone's like, this dude's a fucking genius, and they were right. I just was not there yet when this came out. If I'm like admitting hard truths about like where I was at the time.
No, I don't even disagree. You know, there's this like genre of music that I think is probably just indie rock that in my head I call it cool guy music. And like probably Portugal the Man and Cage the Elephant and stuff like that would be in it that I just absolutely don't fucking enjoy at all. And to me, it always feels like it's, I don't know, like the term cool kid music just like does it for me.
Those are two very different bands, I'd argue. Like,
you know what? Maybe I don't even know them enough, but
no, well, I don't think you're wrong about like when Portugal, early 2010s, like I remember the cool photography kids at the newspaper in college were like, you should listen to Portugal the Man. I was like, oh, this is a sacred secret that I'm being led into for the indie crowd. Maybe they'll take a picture of me at a party because they had really good cameras and I could make my Facebook profile picture. And someone will want to get coffee with me.
But no, I kind of like thought Death Cab. So I feel like I'm pretty 50-50 with Death Cab. I either really love their songs or it puts me immediately to sleep out of disinterest. So, you know, kind of the reference to Coldplay is like, I get it for some songs, but other Death Cab songs are just totally fucking transcendent. And I wish it was more the latter.
You know what's weird about Wedding Crashers soundtrack is that it had this song, The New Year, and and Sparks by Coldplay on it, which is a pretty fucking somber tone. Like, right. People feel about those rompy coms of the 2000s the way they want to, but I don't know. I think there's like, that's a kind of a weird thing to take. We're not going to take a moment to think about it right now necessarily, but that's just two accurate things to say about the Wedding Crashers soundtrack is all.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. The scene where Owen Wilson like creeps to the house, like, what if she heard me knock or whatever? And then, you know, they don't. And it's just like Coldplay running the knife through the aluminum of a sidecar door. It's like, oh, God. But it's interesting looking through and finding out that this was specifically a concept album about distance, because then you listen to the first few songs again and you're like, this song makes more sense. This song is like, we've done episodes about good car ride home song playlists and good album opener playlists, and this would make both like by a lot. It's really fucking good, man. Like, I'm so shocked that the other singles or that Title and Registration trumped this or Expo 86 or even Lightness, to be honest with you. I was going back through and I'm like, how did the fucking Glove Compartment song trump New Year for one, the first track, which is amazing, I think. And it kind of explodes. Can we talk about the guitar tone for a second? I'm all over the place right now, but can we just talk about that real quick? Like, just the sound of it, the first few seconds of it.
Yeah, so again, I have to admit I'm not super familiar with this entire album. There's, you know, a handful of songs that I really like, but you described the beginning of the guitar tone because I remember something more through the middle of the song where the guitar really, really stuck out to me.
It's just like, okay, so we've been talking about Turnstile a lot, or at least I have, the album Glow On, which was one of my favorites from 2021. We talked about that recently. And I think in a previous episode, I was talking about like, I'm like, what makes this hardcore? And I know it is like genre-wise, whatever, but on the show, we don't like love the concept of genre a ton. But, you know, I think what's interesting about the Turnstile record is like, we talked about the concept of like music fandom where you're like, hey, look what I was able to suffer through, and that makes me better. You know what I mean? It's like something we shy away from hugely on the show. I was thinking about the term hardcore and like the first few, I guess, strums of this song where they're just like, dum dum,
yeah,
boom boom, and then, you know, they're doing like the two strums, heavy drums, and then the first word you hear is, this is the new year and I don't feel any different. And what's not fucking, you know, obviously this is not a hardcore record genre-wise, but I'm just like, should he have screamed it to make it more cool, like more hardcore or something? But I'm like, to me, like, there's something very real about, I don't know, the first 20 seconds of this song. Like, I know it's like a soft-spoken Gibbard record in the end, but I don't know, like, I wish there was like a grade you could give it to be like they were getting after it for 30 seconds there. You know what I mean? Like, just because, like, they didn't go full distortion, screamy Job for a Cowboy, slitting the blood from the throat of a goat in the middle of a empty chapel during the apocalypse type thing. But like, there's a heaviness there. I wish there was like a grade or a name for it, where it's just like, can we say that like, to as much as Death Cab could, they were just attacking the track, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way, but the tone is very like gristly, I guess, or gravelly, or just kind of like, okay, I guess this is the answer to Coldplay in America. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what he starts to sing about. But I don't know. It felt, I don't know. Maybe they were overcompensating for what people. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. But there's definitely a surprising edge to the first few tracks on this record, starting with like specifically the first 20 seconds of the song.
Yeah, I think they're getting like as heavy as Death Cab could get in their own universe. It is pretty heavy. It's a really intense start, and it is always like surprising to hear Ben's voice come out on the other end of the instrumental intro.
Yeah. And then of course he goes into the like, let's put our best suit or dress on and make believe that we're wealthy for just this once. And it's like, okay, so this is it definitely like
it's
corrects back to the norm. It corrects back to the norm, back to the average or whatever. But you're just like, ooh, what's going on here? Like this is okay. You had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
We should hit up Alex Melton to do if 4 Year Strong wrote The New Year or if Turnstile.
Yeah. Give me some of that TLC.
For the last time this year, please allow me to shout out our top tier Patreon supporters, our emo elders. In this group, we have Andre Prevost, Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, Carrie Sanchez, Melanie, and Devin Booz. The list is getting so long, I gotta take a breath in the middle. Thank you all so much for supporting the show, and thank you to everyone in our Patreon group. There's over 24 of you, and it really, really means a lot. We've been able to do some really fun special projects for the show because of all of your support. If you'd like to check out the Patreon, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent, where you'll find weekly post shows, an extra 10 to 15 minutes where Pat and I talk every single week after we stop recording for the regular show. And we're doing monthly video AMAs, behind the scenes content, just lots of bonus stuff. So if you'd like to support the show and allow us to keep doing some cool projects, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. Thank you all so much, and back to the episode.
Anyway, so let's come to the music video.
Sure.
During that musical intro, we see a couple things. There's like a through line through the video. There's a guy riding a bike through a city, presumably somewhere in the state of Washington, but that's never really confirmed.
Sure.
There's people in a restaurant wearing black and white. They're not dressed to the nines, but they're dressed up. They're drinking. Some of them are drunk. Some of them are like a little despondent. Some of them are a little all over each other, but there's definitely like late in the evening vibe to everything. I think we're nearing midnight is kind of what they're trying to get across.
Yeah, it is the sexiest room full of people I've ever seen in my life.
It's a pretty good looking group of folks. Yeah. No, I think everyone in the video is for sure, but in this restaurant, definitely.
Is New Year's Eve a sexy holiday to you?
I was going to ask you if it was a fireworks holiday.
Oh.
I had a note later on in the video. I have no idea. Like, we were talking about it. Like, what the is New? Actually, @_reminiscent FM, please tell, what is New Year's to you? What even is it to anybody? Because there's so many different ways to kind of cut this. For some people, it's a specific meal on the New Year's day after. For some people, it's a fireworky thing. For some people, some people say like Americans always turn things into a drinking holiday, which isn't inaccurate.
Yeah,
but I think they even maybe more so turn everything into a fireworks holiday, because I've lost track of like working in news for all those years. It's like, hey guys, don't fire guns or set off fireworks that are too loud for your local municipality because it'll bother your neighbors who have serious, just don't. Don't fire guns, keep the fireworks maybe at a minimum, and let's just relax. They even reference lighting firecrackers off on the front lawn in this song, so maybe for some it is.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a very sexy holiday, but I think it's like a
glittery dress, dress up, go to a party. There was actually when my now wife and I were doing distance, I had flown to Albuquerque to go to a party at a hotel, and we were pretty much what they're doing in this scene is like, let's believe, put your best suit and dress on type thing and just kind of, have a fun night. So maybe that's what it is for some, but this is definitely the part of the night where people aren't like, there's like the promise of a good night portion of the evening, and then there's like the we have gone through 2/3 of this night, and now the last third is going to define how we feel about kind of the whole thing. But like anything could happen because we're pretty drunk. But they cut to the waitstaff, who is like, well, nobody seemed that happy at the party, but the waitstaff's definitely not having a good time. And they get back to the kitchen, and the lyric, "And I don't feel any different," hits.
Yeah.
And she looks over to a member of the kitchen staff who's throwing out some garbage. He throws it out, and it cuts to a taxi, which is near the dumpster in the back, which there's a girl in the backseat of the taxi. And we see the kid kind of working his way through the city. And it turns out the girl in the backseat of the taxi is a character in the music video that'll come up later, but we don't see a lot of her.
You know, the kitchen staff throwing the trash outside, he doesn't have any sleeves on. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I don't know. Would it be, if it was in a Seattle area thing, would it be temperate, like on the West Coast at that time of year or something? I don't know.
Well, it was 78 degrees here on Christmas yesterday, so.
Yes. Yes. Well, actually, shout out to Death Cab for warning us all about, or actually, no, it would have been the Postal Service warning us all about global warming back in 2002.
You know, I wrote that, I guess the question, I'd like to pose a question here. Does Ben Gibbard have an emo voice?
I think he has an indie voice.
He says like, yeah, when he sings, yeah, like there's a lot of vowels going on. And I think if we're going to give...
No, I think it's an indie voice. I think there's a difference. I think there's Kellen Quinn and there's Haley going, stores. And I think there's an emo voice, but I think there's an indie voice. And I think my exhibit A would be him just find an example of him saying the word suture. And that's what I mean. I think it's different in a way that is meaningful. So that's my answer.
Okay, sure.
It's like find him saying the word suture and it'll make sense, I think. But I don't think it's an emo voice. I think it's an indie voice.
An indie voice. I can live with
Bright
that.
Eyes is in that category, kind of like...
Oh my God, yeah.
Him talking about the crashing airplane and everything. Anyway, there's like this really arduous magazine article or whatever, and it's like, anyway, I love that song. I don't know why I'm making fun of it. Anyway, I would call it an emo voice, but it's a valid question because I almost wanted to ask if there's a bunch of emo cuts in this video, and it's kind of too borderline to even really say. I don't think it's, I don't know. Well, that's an important question, Tom, isn't it? Is this an emo record? Is this an emo song? Because this is too early in the decade to really have all the like, Dr. Hot Topic has put his stamp of approval on all the haircuts and, belts and shit. So it's a little, I would say in spirit, I would say yes. But like visually, I don't know if we've gotten there yet. But you talk about like some of the movies like Nick and Nora's Playlist and some of the more indie. I don't know, is it straddling the border there, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to say Newfound Glory is emo, I think we have to say Death Cab is emo.
Have we said that?
I think so.
Oh,
or Fall Out
Actually,
Boy.
you know
Fall
what?
Out Boy is emo.
Damn it. I don't want to do this here or now, but it sounds like we've gotten nowhere in 5 years, which sounds about right. Maybe they have a foot in both camps here. Maybe it's an unsolvable mystery. Tweet at _reminiscent FM if you have a take in that department. And if it's a scorcher, submit it in the form we tweeted about ScorchFest 22. Hashtag ScorchFest 22. Coming to you soon. Anyway, the kitchen... You mentioned something about OSHA not being thrilled with the way this restaurant's conducting its business. Oh. I'm reading the note. Never mind. I'm stealing your joke.
Oh, no, it's over. The time has passed.
Gotcha. OSHA would like to have a word with those biceps, Tom wrote about the guy throwing out the trash.
In armpit hairs in the food with the sleeveless shirt.
No doubt. Everyone in this video, as we mentioned, is hardcore reflecting.
Yeah.
We are seeing a guy ride his bike through town. He passes a 24-hour bakery. There's a woman at the counter. Like, it's pretty, like, maybe it's not so rare, but yeah, she's just having a day. It's nearing midnight. Everyone is like elbows down on the counter, hands beneath the chin, just thinking about stuff, which what better time of year, I guess, is what we're learning. The biker guy's cruising on through. There's a worker in like a building he passes that's mopping, and he looks over to see some of workers of that ilk playing cards, and they're kind of after shift, drinking, laughing, and they hit the lyric, "Let's make believe they were wealthy for just this once." Kind of have fun with what you got type vibe going on there.
Yeah.
I guess is the implication.
This spot with that lyric reminded me of this like buried memory that I haven't brought up since it happened of a sad day at work on New Year's Eve when I was maybe 20, 21. So the line, let's make believe that we are wealthy for just this once. There was a private party that bought out Northside Social. It was like a coffee shop, a wine bar, bakery where I worked for a long time outside of DC. And it was like this kid who was like maybe 24 who bought out the whole place and paid like 10 or 12 grand or something to have the place from like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. or something. And he was like kind of this weird looking, short, stocky dude. And I just felt like either it's a trust fund or he like begged his parents for it, but I just got this impression that like he wasn't a very cool guy, but he wanted to like be one for a night. So he invited, or like, you know, there were all these like super attractive people in this building, and then him just like really wasted trying to dance on every girl that was there. But anyway, talking about being lonely on New Year's, I was not even scheduled to work. But at this point in my life, I was like suffering through college and didn't really have any friends there. The only people I really interacted with were people that I worked with. And so I asked if I could work that night, and they said no. I think it was because I wasn't quite 21 yet. So I just fucking hung out, like volunteered to work this night so I didn't have to be alone. And the shift manager was like, Tom, just go home and like have a holiday. I was like, I have no one to go to. So I just like worked for free in order to not be alone on New Year's, as these like people just got shit faced and grinded on each other and stuff. And it was like such a weird, sad New Year's. I think that was right before I turned 21. But yeah, so this video and that line brought up this like super sad New Year's memory for me. So yeah, it's not one of my favorite holidays traditionally, but again, looking to change that in the future.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that this song and video captures pretty well. And I would say that Gibbard catches like sometimes when you're out in public, and you don't have to be drinking to experience this, but he touches on it here where like firecrackers off in the front lawn where 30 dialogues bleed into one. Kind of that disassociation
line.
Feel. But there's a line in the Postal Service record, Too Late on the Record, where it's like the tumblers are drained and then flooded again and again on this place is a prison, where like you can tell he's had that moment in public, probably at a party, probably you're not quite drunk yet, but maybe you're just sober at coffee one day experiencing this, maybe you're not, but you just kind of like definitely you're just within yourself all of a sudden. You're just like,
how did I get here?
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like, man, I better slap on the clown paint and, you know, survive the evening. But man, you know, so
Yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah.
It's very, you know, grateful that that you're willing to share such a personal anecdote. But I don't know, I'm sure if you listen to this type of music, maybe you've had that type of thing, but you're just kind of like sitting there holding a red Solo cup in your hand. You look over at like a book on a bookcase or something. You're just like, you know, just like, but it's very probable that nobody captures that via in their lyrics quite like Ben Gibbard has the ability to. It seems like.
Yeah,
it seems like everyone in this video is experiencing that exact. Sorry, my nose hit the mic. Getting overexcited here. It seems like everyone in this video is just experiencing that phenomena all at once, almost.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't help that like the whole thing is in slow-mo too, which is just like,
right.
Just trudging through it, man.
We see a TV, I think, in the break room where the guys are playing cards, the ball's dropping. You see a fast food worker, you know, elbows on the drive-through window, just doing the same thing the coffee shop person was doing, or the bakery person. And I had a thought like, why is at work the best place to daydream? Maybe it's not. I wonder if you had thoughts there, but like, I don't know, it's a good place to just kind of, I don't know, not do work, I guess. No, that's not true, but you know what I mean? Just kind of like, you come in after lunch, maybe you have some coffee, and you're just like, your brain goes somewhere else for like 40 minutes, and you have to kind of snap yourself out of it maybe a little bit.
I mean, most people probably want to be anywhere but there.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about like this being a good drive home song. Maybe the only other better place to daydream is like on a bus, train, plane, or automobile or whatever the on your way home somewhere. But
V contemplative.
Yeah. I guess if, like you were saying at the at the coffee shop shift, sounds like at work as the clock reaches midnight on December 31st is an excellent place to just kind of lose it for a minute.
Right.
Anyway.
Oh boy.
You ever have a bike with a basket on the front?
I don't even have bikes with brakes on them, man. Like, I'm certainly not going to have an accessory like a basket.
All right, moving right along. I guess I'll just go f*** myself.
No, it's funny though, because the guy in the video, it's a BMX bike with a basket on it, which I certainly have never seen before.
Yeah, the BMX part was definitely 2000s where it was like,
I got a dyno.
like even Schwinn was putting out little like, could you spin your rims, bro? No, I got the pigs though. I got the pigs.
Yeah, if you had that gyro, the brakes on it, where you could spin the bars and it wouldn't tangle up the brake lines. Oof. That was it.
And the people that didn't, but still tried to turn them like 3/4 of the way anyway.
That was me, because I couldn't afford the gyro.
Various shots of the workers at this point in the video, just, so this is the New Year's getting sung by Gibbard at this point in the song. And definitely like so this is it, huh? Energy to the whole thing.
Yeah.
The boy goes to the bakery we saw earlier, and he sits down at a table in that cafe. And who is across from him but the girl from the taxi from earlier? And the whole long distance concept album thing just snaps right into place, doesn't it? Super cleanly, and you're just like, they're about to have a State of the Union type thing, and it's going to be probably bad based on the energy of the video. But, maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't. But, Expo 86 snaps into place, title and registration, light, or what is it? Not lightness. Maybe, I forget the name of it. But, the shouldn't think what I'm feeling. Every like lyric that you kind of knew this was a concept album about a long distance relationship, but I had never read that sentence on that Wikipedia page where it was like known. I was like, oh yeah, of course it is. Like everything makes crazy sense. I wish I could travel by folding the map. Then there'd be no distance that could hold us back. Yeah. And kind of this shot in the music video and that line on the Wikipedia page, I was like, oh, transatlanticism is fucking amazing. Like I already knew that, but we were talking about like, is there an emotional peak for some bands? And I'm not even saying this is their best album, but there's definitely a different energy to like, was it Codes and Keys and things like that? Narrow Stairs might even have one, and it like, he's not singing "I'll Possess Your Heart" on Transatlanticism, that's for sure. You know what I mean? So it's almost like there's like that last bit of youthful ignorance for every artist. Maybe I feel like for a few months now we've been trying to dance around this point that I've been trying to make, but this is definitely like the last bit of youthful innocence, reckless, emotional behavior. I think maybe for the band or something, and it's so gut-wrenching, but so beautiful at the same time, obviously, because Ben Gibbard's involved. But yeah, when they sit down at that counter in that bakery in the video, it's kind of like, oh yeah, of course that's what this is. And it was all planned out. And the oh come ons at the end of Transatlanticism at the end are all the more, we've been saying it all episode. You know what we're trying to say. And if you watch the video, you know exactly what he's trying to say. So, but anyway, it's like, oh, yep. All right. So yeah, I would say like, it was a very different Sunday morning dog walk this morning, listening to the New Year on repeat over and over, trying to get to the bottom of it. And then you just get lost in it all over again. And then you kind of wonder, it's like, maybe I shouldn't do this show. Like maybe it's working against my own self-interest in a lot of ways. But no, it's all good. And it is an interesting, reflecty, New Year's-y song. An important emo song for the decade, for the context of the show. Sorry, yeah, I'm taking a hold of the conversation too much.
No, my original suggestion was to do Weightless by All Time Low, but I recently found out via you they just got canceled. So.
I think we're going to take a long breather on talking about that band for a little while.
I didn't know.
Yeah, but I was shocked we hadn't done this because it's the most obvious choice if we were going to explore that sort of thing. So
I think we've talked about it every year in the past, but we've been like, nah, too somber, man. But here we are.
Yes, indeed. It is quite somber, almost as Somber Town, the fictional location in the claymation movie Santa Claus is Coming to Town, where a young redheaded Kris Kringle brings yo-yos to all the kids. And Burgermeister Meisterburger tries to put him in jail. It's the best piece of American culture cinema that I've ever seen in my life. A yo-yo? I love yo-yos. Anyway, I think that's it. I think we can go to the post show and do maybe sort through the loose outline of some resolutions, talk a little bit, and then prepare ourselves for Scorch Fest Am I jumping so
Yeah.
fast ahead? I think we're done. I think we covered everything we wanted to cover.
Well, let's give a song of the week.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what? I haven't done this one yet. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And this fits this episode a lot. But it also comes with like a warning, I feel like. But Phoebe Bridgers covered That Funny Feeling from the Bo Burnham special Inside.
Yeah.
And it's devastating when he sings it, but she does her thing on it. And it's almost just like I wouldn't listen to it on like a Tuesday if you're like in a fine mood heading to work, ready to be productive, because it's one of those weak alterers. So handle with care, but it's obviously very well done. So anyway, that's my song of the week.
Cool. I never really watch Christmas movies with the exception of Elf, but Megan and I actually took a few days off of work, which is a new feeling for me. We just watched like a bunch of Christmas movies on Netflix, including one called Love Hard that came out this year. And I really like noticing the sets, like the background sets of people's bedrooms and stuff when they film in it. And the one character, you could like barely see a Touché Amoré poster in the background. And I thought like, man, that's like a pretty cool, like quote unquote, cool band for this character that's like supposed to be kind of nerdy or whatever. But it got me listening to them. It's been a very, very long time since I've checked it out. But their 2020 album, Lament, the opening track, Come Heroine, is really, really good. So yeah, I'm kind of digging into that album. But the song Come Heroine by Touché Amoré is my song of the week and my last song of the week for the year.
Nice. Look at us, just coming prepared. I think we haven't whiffed on a song of the week for a while. I'm proud of us. Anyway,
Proud of
thanks
you,
for being
man.
here, everybody. Prepare yourselves, buckle up for ScorchFest 22. Hashtag ScorchFest 22. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram. And
Yep. Happy New Year's. We hope you
Happy
all
New
have
Year.
a not somber one. I hope it's fun and sexy
Yeah.
for everyone. And
yes. Oh, dude.
fun and sexy New
For
Year's.
sure, dude. For sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Happy New Year, man. We'll do what we usually text each other on birthdays. But
Happy New
another
Year,
trip
man.
around. Pretty good. Happy New Year. Pretty good stuff. All right, later, everybody.
All right, love you, dude. Love you all. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this last episode of the year. We really hope you all have an amazing New Year's celebration, whether it be fun, fireworky, or sexy, or you go to bed at 8 p.m. We really hope that you enjoy it, and we hope that 2022 is an even better year for everyone. Please hit us up on Twitter at _reminiscentfm. Let us know what you're up to. Let us know what your perception of the holiday is. And we love you all so much. We'll talk to you next week. Please stay safe. Please have fun. We love you all. Catch you next week on Scorch Fest.